Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fuel for Success. This is our 255th episode. Interesting fact about 255, it's five less than 260. Hey, welcome to the show, everyone. That was a little northern, midwestern, sarcastic, dry humor because I'm half
which we
Norwegian,
all appreciate.
which we all appreciate. Hey, good morning, my friend. It's good to see you on this wonderful Thursday. And today is Thursday. We're going to be talking about business development, entrepreneurship, and the like of things of like ilk. So, how are you today?
I am doing well, my friend, doing extremely well. Looking forward to our show. This is our show where you and I sit down and talk business and entrepreneurship, something we live, so that's why we can talk about it. We're living it every
Living it.
single day. The ups and downs of entrepreneurship, we've lived it. Believe me. I don't know of one thing we haven't tried in the world of entrepreneurship and business. You know what I think people ought to do, Mike? I think people ought to make a list of like the top 100 most impossible sales and go after all 100 of them, even if they know that all 100 are going to be no's, because it'll do something. I'm currently doing this. I thought of this last night and I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I did. I sat down and I made a list of the top 100 most impossible sales, and I'm going to call all 100 of them or go see them, whatever, applies. And then, you know what? So what if they say no? What do I lose? Have I lost anything? What would
Right.
I gain at the end of those 100 attempts? Am I going to be more of a failure? Well, there's a high possibility if you go 0 for 100, probably isn't like going to get you speaking engagements as a sales training expert. But I'm talking about like the most impossible sales. This would be something that I think every salesperson should do, especially if you ever get into a funk or you ever get into a rut or you're stuck. Sometimes Brian Tracy said sometimes you just need to make 100 calls as fast as you can. Just say, okay, you know what? I'm literally not gonna stop until I make 100 calls, and I'm gonna see how fast. Not that you rush the sales call, but a lot of salespeople get stuck. I've been there as a salesman. I've been stuck, and I do little things like this to help get me unstuck, so to
Yes,
speak.
it's good.
Anyway, so Mike, talk to us. We
Sure.
got questions, we got answers,
That's right.
we've got it all here, my friend.
As you were saying that, and I don't want to like make light of it, but sometimes we almost have to, put ourselves in positions or trick ourselves. Here's an analogy for you. I'm trying to reduce my coffee intake a little bit, and so
Okay.
I just use a smaller cup. Makes a big
It's
difference.
just genius. Keep life simple. I'm all about keep life simple. That actually makes sense. But then what a health coach would tell you is get rid of all the big cups. Get rid of them. Like, don't even keep them in the house because that way there's no temptation. But then, you ready for this? So you use a small cup and you get two of them. Like, it's smaller. So, you know what? I can go ahead and have another one because it's small.
Yeah.
But hey, that's awesome, Mike. What made you decide to decrease the coffee intake?
Well, good organic black coffee, 1 or 2 cups a day is actually healthy. It's healthful. It's good for you. My intake quantity is slightly some order of magnitude higher than that, which is probably too much, and so it affects my water intake. And so I'm just trying to keep it balanced and just keep that in check and get back to the 1 to 2 cups a day. And when you have a huge mug of coffee, I just mindlessly drink it. And so for me, sort of just use a smaller cup.
And for
Anyhow,
that reason, I'm out. I love saying if I was on Shark Tank, I would be horrible because I would live to want to say, and for that reason, I'm out.
listen, I just don't like your face, and for that reason, I'm
That reason, I'm out. I don't like this show, and for that reason, I'm out. So Mike, let's start off. But you lead us in the
Yeah,
Q&A here,
yeah.
my
So
friend.
we're going to talk about business and entrepreneurship. And actually, Carol has a great suggestion. We should interview her and and sort of get her take on it, and anybody else, maybe entrepreneurs' wives or spouses, because there could be ladies that are running businesses and their husbands deal with it. That's a great topic to approach later. Um, Tommy's asking about work ethic.
That's a good idea. I actually think that's a great idea because a wife can make or break a businessman or a man in general. But
Yeah.
definitely, you're in business, you got to have the right wife. So, me knowing Carol, she's the perfect entrepreneur wife because she gets it. She gets the big picture. Well, so yeah, that might be a good thing down the road here.
Um, hey, Tommy's asking about work ethic, and he lumps you and I in with Grant Cardone as far as work ethic, which is actually reminds me of a text that I sent Matt. I'm like, Grant Cardone's got nothing. We're going 20x.
Yeah, 10x to me is like 10x. That's it, Grant. That's all you got. I mean, I love Grant, but he's not God. He's got the same 24 hours I have. He just might hustle a little bit more at times. But we're on his heels, my friend. Good thing he lives in Miami because if I was in Miami, there would be no room for both of us. I'm coming after him. I'm not 10xing him. I'm 100xing.
Work ethic is something that, and in the entrepreneur world, especially today, one of the sort of buzzwords is hustle. And getting things done, working hard. I'm a Gary Vaynerchuk fan, although he's a little bit raw and uses some vulgarities and so forth. But the dude gets it, and he had just released a video like yesterday, a 4-minute video on hustle, and kicked my butt, frankly. And he's talking about, and he goes off, on people that say they're entrepreneurs and their work ethic and how much they actually put into it. And then he sort of makes fun of people that want to run a business and they're doing it from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And he's like, "It's just not enough. It's just not enough." And that's the kind of work ethic that somebody needs to have to build a business. They need to have the kind of work ethic that, hey, listen, you know what? I've got my legal pad here, right? Of all the stuff that my to-do list and all the things. It goes with me everywhere, right? Go to Wednesday night Bible study last night. My legal pad goes with me because on the drive, I may have a business issue that I need to deal with. You're just never off. You never shut off. You're focused on the business. You're doing the business. You're working. You're working. You're working. When you're tired, you work some more. You don't have the luxury to like not work. So that's the kind of work ethic that we need to have.
I agree. And if you study people like, and I was teasing Grant Cardone, I got a lot of respect for him. And I'm with you. Gary Vaynerchuk, same thing. And Gary Vaynerchuk is so right. That's what I love about him is he keeps it real. He's a wealthy guy. He could be stiff. He could be arrogant. The guy just flat out keeps it real. And I appreciate that. And he's so right, Mike. As far as work ethic, there's no other way around it. It's all about putting in the time. But it's focused work. It's smart work.
Right.
A lot of times I see people get trapped with busy work, low productivity work, because they don't want to deal with the real work that needs to be done. So they do busy work to avoid the real work. And they feel good because they feel like, in other words, I have a book back here called Fake Work. We've kind of talked about it on the show a little bit before, I think. But to revisit this subject, it's like the salespeople that avoid making sales calls. So they keep reorganizing their desk. They keep, checking emails. They keep, going and getting another cup of coffee and there's just so many things that they do. And so because they're doing things, they feel like they're being productive. See, Mike, the real focus is being productive.
Right.
Not just busy. Because I know a lot of people that it looks like they're hustling, but they're not hustling because they don't really live by priority or they don't focus or they don't work by priority. They're moving. I meet a lot of business people like this that because of their own need to fuel their self-esteem or their self-worth, busyness makes them feel better. But busyness can be a curse to a businessman because the goal is not to just be busy. The goal is to produce.
Right.
The goal is to, for example, me making 20 sales calls in 2 hours could yield a higher return of 14 hours of doing something else. So it's not just like, oh yeah, I was real busy yesterday. Like busy is such a word we throw around, that we need to be careful and cautious that as business people, that we don't just let busyness be our goal. We got to stay busy. You do got to stay busy. You got to stay moving. You got to stay active.
Right.
But it's all got to be on things that actually drive business. It's got to be on stuff that matters, stuff that's going to produce, right? I mean, we've learned this, Mike. We both have learned this.
It's true. And at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, and the Bible says, without vision, the people perish, and without vision, a business perishes too. You have to have a vision, like where are we going, and what are we trying to accomplish? And at the end of the day, if people don't give you money, you don't have a business, and so you need to get money. At the end of the day, you have to get money to build the business. And so, what is the part of the business that's going after the money? Now, obviously, our focus in, for example, My Health 90 is to provide value. At the end of the day, if we don't get money, we're not even enabled to provide value. So there's a trade-off, there's a balance there. But every day, we make decisions based on, okay, how is this going to help us get money, get the money we need to enable, us to bring value, to add value, to help people, all those sort of things. It all intertwines. But you got to ask yourself, you sit down to do something like, is this actually going to help the business? Is this going to make us money? Is this going to grow our business in some way? And I don't want to come off sound like it's all about the money, but at the end of the day, it is, because without money, you have no business. And you can't do any of the things that your business has a vision to do.
So true. It's so true. And I wish business people would get what you just said, Mike. That's gold, and it's true. That,
Hey.
Mike and I have this text. Thanks to Mike, he created this text where every time we make a sale, we both get a text. And if I'm not seeing those texts go off, I'm not happy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, is something wrong, Mike? Is the text feature broke? No, still working. Well, I ain't seen any texts come in. And that's when he gives me the little speech of, hey, hustle your face off. That's fun. Anyway, so let's dive into some of the questions maybe that some of our viewers have buzzed in on us.
Sure. So that was kind of the only question that our viewers say. Hey, by all means, if you're watching live, ask questions. Feel free, jump in. We've got a couple of questions in the queue here, and the first one, and we talk about this all the time, but it's always worth coming back to. And what the question is sort of phrased this way: what are some tips on staying focused? Especially in a small business and an entrepreneur, there's so many things to do as an entrepreneur. It takes me 20 minutes just to distill down my priority list because I have so many things to do, right? And we could be so distracted. What are some tips that you would give for staying focused?
Mike, this is something that every businessman needs. This is something that every athlete needs. I mean, anybody that's going to have success, if you're making the decision to be successful, you have to learn the power of focus. So, the real power of focus, Mike, is the discipline to say no to good things. The discipline to say no to the tasks that are important but not necessarily urgent. You know what I'm saying? I always try to view life like an emergency room, triage.
Right.
You always give your time and energy to what's most important. And sometimes, Mike, the simple ask of making a master list of all the things that you have to get done and is boring as this sounds. And then after you make the master list, you prioritize that list and you write in order. Problem is like 10 of my actions could be number one,
Right.
So that's the tough part about focus. And, Mike, sometimes you got to get in zones. You got to know see, a lot of people don't realize the power of zones and the power of, I read a book one time called Fully Engaged. See, here's the problem with some people. Nobody can be fully engaged. Our bodies couldn't take it. Our minds couldn't take it. Our emotions couldn't take full engagement. But the power of full engagement, it also helps focus. And that is saying, but it's the stickability. It's the discipline to stick with the commitment to say, okay, I'm going to write for 90 minutes. See, you can put that on a to-do list, but the real power is in the follow through of writing for 90 minutes, or I'm going to make 100 sales calls. Okay, awesome. You know what? Pick up the phone, start dialing. In other words, it's the following through and then the sticking with it. But I believe in zones. Go get into a zone. Like most people might never get into a zone of what I call freak mode, where they're just like, they're focused like a freak. They're focused like a heart surgeon. They're laser focused on this task until it's done or until the time that you've allotted. So if you said, okay, for the next 2 hours, I'm going to return emails. Well, if you're going to return emails for the next 2 hours, don't check Facebook, Twitter. Don't, call your buddy. Don't run over to Starbucks. Like seriously, there's so many things that can distract us throughout the day, but working in zones and working in blocks of time and literally pouring all in, fully engage. See, we don't disengage. You got to learn how to engage and disengage and know how to, when you're on, beyond. That's like what Brian Tracy says. When you work, work. And when you play, play. What most people don't do, Mike, when it's time to work, whatever block of time it's going to be, if it's 8 hours, if it's 90 minutes, I teach this to my son in sports. And I teach it to our kids. I'm like, look, the second you step onto this field, it's time to work. Your whole mind changes. Your whole focus changes. Your body language changes, Same thing has to happen when you walk in the office. Don't just casually walk into the office. I've done this before, and I've taught people to do it. And I know other entrepreneurs that work from home to do it. Like actually go get in the car, start it up, drive around the block, pull into your driveway, and walk into your office like you're coming to work, like with passion. Like really like get yourself psyched up that, hey, I'm here to work. Just because I work at home doesn't mean that I can go watch Sports Center. Doesn't mean that I can go, take a nap. Literally. So I don't know, Mike. I think those are some tips that would help people be more focused.
I like that. I may actually get myself an empty briefcase and do that every morning. Carry my briefcase out to the car.
And you're what? And me and Mike wear sports clothes every day because we're health coaches. So it's funny because, I'll be out somewhere and somebody asks me what I do and I say I own my own business and they immediately just like look at me because I'm like, they like look at me like, you do? And I'm like, yeah, and I'm probably better than you. So don't look at me just because I'm wearing an Under Armour. I'm just kidding. But no, it's funny because they think that, but it is fun. So Mike, I'm just envisioning you with your briefcase and your sports attire walking into the office. I need a video of this.
Yeah.
Exactly, Lance. Yeah. Mike's gonna have to shovel his driveway to get to work.
I typically I actually leave every morning anyways to take my daughter to school, so it's I sort of do that anyway. And when I come back, so before that is like my prayer and Bible study time, take Danny to school, and then I come back and then it's work time. So it's sort of have that anyways built in. Interesting. I was actually going to mention something because Tommy talked about work ethic and he said he's having a hard time and, sort of getting that gear going, I guess. And I like what you said really about focus and zones, which can really help kind of focus your work ethic and get you in a place where you can accomplish more. But the other thing that I want to say, I actually sort of went off on my daughter last night on the drive home from church, and not in a bad way, but she was talking, she wants to be an author. She wants to be a writer. And as I started to talk to her about it, I'm like, well, we could publish a book if you want to just, finish a book. And she's making excuses like, it takes a long time to write a book and it's a lot of work. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I said, until you start working on it, you don't even have the opportunity to make excuses to me. And at the end of the day, you know what? I said, you know what? You're just not hungry enough. If you
Ooh,
wanted it, if you were hungry enough, you wouldn't sit here and make excuses. You wouldn't have a problem. You'd take every 30-minute break you have from school, every 30-minute, instead of sitting on Snapchat or doing whatever, you'd be writing your book, right? So a lot of times it's like if your work ethic is suffering, you're just not hungry enough.
that's actually powerful. You're right, Mike. I mean, a lot of times I like the analogy. Good one. So you think that sometimes people aren't hungry enough, and I believe that. I do believe, Tommy, sometimes the way through ruts or through valleys is extremism. Seriously. Sometimes it's an all-nighter. Like sometimes it's pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion just to break it. And I'm not saying that I'm saying to pull out of ruts.
Yeah.
Like if someone's they're stuck. That's why I said if you're stuck in sales, make 100 calls. Don't stop until you make 100 calls. If you're stuck in writing, write all day. Literally, like Danny, get home from school, turn your phone off and write. Mike, love the analogy of a Snapchat, and I haven't got a Snapchat from you in a while. What's the deal here?
I sent you one yesterday.
Oh, 2 days. Wait, was it yesterday?
I think I sent you one yesterday. Hey, and the reason I mentioned Snapchat's actually an interesting thing, and I believe that that's a direction that social media is going. For those of you entrepreneurs that are watching, I think that look at WhatsApp, look at Snapchat, and that's the younger generations are using those things for a social platform. Of course, Facebook is the giant right now, but watch these up and comers. The messaging apps are sort of the new thing. So I'm experimenting with Snapchat, trying to find ways to market with it and do things of that nature, communicate better, engage with audiences, all those sort of things. Anyway, little techno moment. Excuse me.
A brief sneak peek at the book cover that came in, Keys to Success for Kids. So there you go. Hey, Danny is actually a really good writer. So if she is watching, Mike's daughter, shout out to Danny because she's a phenomenal writer. Yeah. So I can't wait to read her stuff. I always tell her to send me anything. When she writes an article or a poem, I said, send it to Uncle Matt. I'll read it, and I do, and it's good stuff. Yeah, Tommy, I wish you luck. Tommy, listen, you got what it takes. Listen, all you have is now. Let go of the quote-unquote failures of the laziness or the non-drive or this whenever. I'm not saying you were lazy, but if you got stuck and you're discouraged and you just feel like, oh, so much regret, I was so not. Listen, I've had weeks where I wasn't as productive, Tommy. I've had moments, Mike can tell you as a business partner. I've had moments where he's probably just shaking his head thinking, wow, I thought I had a business partner over here. You know what I'm saying? So, let it go, Tommy. Today's a new day, and move from today forward and do something extreme to pull you out of it. Go hard in. Sometimes the only way to do it is go hard in. It's like what I tell people, look, this is what talking about being in the zone is. If you said, okay, I'm going to clean the garage tonight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and I'm not doing one other thing, do you realize how much you would get done? Or if you said, okay, I'm going to write out my thank you cards from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Do you realize doing that with no checking of your phone? This is the number one distraction, my friends, right here. You've got to learn that this can be a tool, and this can also be something that can sabotage your success. So use it right and learn how to let this work for you and you not work for it. In other words, master your phone, my friends. Master all these alerts that are coming in from Snapchat, from Instagram, YouTube, Google, email, Facebook. My Lord, no wonder people are distracted. Texting, which, by the way, Mike, I've done really good with not texting and driving. Are you proud of me? You know what I had to do to beat it? You know what I had to do to beat it? Because I'm a good texter and driver, but I don't believe in it. I really don't. So I've committed when I'm in the car to literally put my phone in the console. I lift it up and almost lock it away. And it was hard at first. I was having emotional detachments. I was like, my phone. I was like, and so I literally had to, it's kind of like the old theory of don't look at the marshmallow. I literally had to just put it away to where, you know what? And so like, what's funny is like every red light, I'll like open it up, check and see like, so it's like, what did I get $1 for?
You just said literally. Hey,
Way to literally keep count.
that's funny. Hey, what was I going to say? You totally. Oh, you know what? So a lot of times people allow their phones to dictate what they do. Don't let your phone determine your schedule, right? I mean, I'm all about answering the phone and connecting with people and doing everything you can, but just because your phone rings doesn't mean that you're obligated to answer it. Just because somebody sends you a text doesn't mean right now is the exact right time to answer it. Sometimes you have to defer those things so that you can stay in the zone and so that you can stay focused and so that you can get things done. Um,
So
so
believe in that, Mike. I so believe in what you just said. And it's the discipline of doing that and saying, you know what? This is my time where I'm going to return calls. This is my time where I'm going to write. This is my time where I'm going to, if people would stick to it and do it, this is how I've trained my son in baseball. Listen, man, the power is in the focus. And when you go do your baseball drills, I tell them, look, man, go all in, get them done, and you got the rest of your day ahead of you. Literally, there's 20. Mike, I don't think people realize the power of there's 24 hours in a day. That to me is insane opportunity. The amount of stuff we could get done if we weren't distracted, the amount of stuff we could accomplish is sickening.
it is.
In a good way, sickening.
Hey,
Good to see my friend David Tainer on here.
yeah.
Who's good to see you, David. Glad you're on the show today, my friend.
Hey, I'm connected to David Tanner on Snapchat, and he gets it. And he works with a lot of young people, and he uses it to his advantage. So he's a great example of someone that gets Snapchat and uses it well.
I wouldn't know. David's never Snapchatted me, so I feel neglected here.
Well, there is a thing called a story on Snapchat, so you want to check out his story, which is like just a progression of snaps. Hey, I want to just before I get to the next question and maybe our sales tip of the day, I want to just leverage something that you said just a little bit ago, and when you were talking to Tommy really about the situation, letting go of the past and that sort of thing. And one thing that as we sit here and we talk about our business and the things that we go through and some of the techniques we use and staying focused and all of that would be easy for someone watching the show to think, man, these guys have it all together and I'm such a mess, that I mess up here and I mess up there. And it's like, first of all, just time out. You know what? We mess up stuff all the time. Okay. I mean, we're not like bumbling incompetent idiots or anything, but the reality is life is life. Business is hard. You make mistakes. It's a complex world. I think the key, if I can use one word, is resilience. You got to be resilient and you got to look at it and say, look, that didn't work. Great. Let's move on to the next thing. Well, that didn't work. Awesome. Let's move on to the next thing. Well, that customer is upset because we missed something or whatever. Well, awesome. Let's move on and look at, we got 900 customers that are happy. So, well, whatever. So you gotta look at, the overall balance and be resilient and not take it too hard when you mess up, when something doesn't go right. When you have an off day, when you have like an afternoon that you could have got a bunch of stuff done and you're like, man, I got distracted. And I think, earlier this week, Matt and I were on the phone and I'm like, man, I have not been productive. I had a day that just, life happens, stuff happens, had a server issue, just blah. And I'm like, I got this huge to-do list and I can't get anything done. Be resilient, move on.
Mike, you're right. You're right. At the end of the day, that's what business is. It's the grind. It's a carpet burn sometimes. There's times it's a paper cut. There's just annoying stuff that happens. There's times when it's a long climb. It is. That's Mike. This is why not everybody's cut out for business and entrepreneurship. For these reasons. Everybody thinks it's all like getting on the cover of Success Magazine or writing your own book or whatever. Just got a Snapchat from David, by the way. I'm sorry. You know what? Usually I keep my phone like laid down this way to where like I can't even see it. Today I had it up. There you go. David, love you. Thanks for the Snapchat. Hey, Mike, listen. What you said about sometimes, if I was interviewing people right now, I'm different. I would not be asking about someone's past successes. I don't care about that. I don't. I want to know about all your failures because here's why. A person's failures and how they've been resilient and how they are still like man or woman enough to step up and still take another swing, I'll take a shot on that person. Meaning, like they say, Mike, and it's true, the masters of success will tell you, you actually need to run towards failure. You actually, you need more failures. And the problem is, Mike, is weak-minded people. They're afraid to fail. They get discouraged when they fail. You know, they let failure set them way back. And the word is resilience. It's learning how to fail and fail and fail. What did Winston Churchill said? The secret of success is the ability to go from one failure to another without losing enthusiasm. And that's the spark of an entrepreneur and a true businessman is they've gotten beat up. They've failed. They've had, like Mike said, there's just days where it's just not clicking. Do you know how many times for me, Tommy, I've had moments where I'm like, I suck. You know, like, there's just like moments where I'm like, I know better than this, right? Like, you know, I'll get distracted or I'll not execute on priorities. Tommy, we've all been there. So yes, Fail. Yeah, that's a good book. Fail Forward, Lance, by John Maxwell. It's a good book. Mike, so were you getting ready to ask a question?
No, I was just going to mention, Matt and I have joked that we may publish our text messages as a book someday. That's actually kind of funny.
I promise if Mike and I would publish our text message conversations, people would laugh, they would cry, they would stand there and just stare at the wall for a long time and be like, wow, really? Like, Henry is back! What's up, buddy?
Henry's going to give us some advice on business development and social media interaction. Go.
Henry is actually a really, really cute baby. Henry! Just for you, for the record, that's not Mike's son, guys. That's Mike's, hate to say the word, but it is. It's his grandson. I know Mike doesn't even nowhere near look old enough to be a grandpa, but he is, and that's a cute little thing. He looks like he's in a good mood, Mike.
He is. He's clicking buttons here. We can't do that, buddy. Say goodbye, everyone.
Say bye, buddy. I love you. Hence the benefit of working from home is moments like that. That's got to keep you motivated.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. He is cute, Pacey. Thank you. He's even more adorable in person, and he's a happy baby, so I'm blessed.
Can't wait to see the little guy. Mike, I don't know how much time we have left, but I would like to just kind of give a little final motivational thought for the day for all the people out there. You know, we have a lot of people that watch our show, and I want to say thank you to everyone that watches live. Well, actually, Mike, you were getting ready to say something before Henry came in. I'll get to my thing in a minute. What were you getting ready to say?
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't. We were talking about publishing our text messages. Yeah, but well, you know what? We're very, as business partners, you have to be very transparent. And you know, one of the things that when Matt and I work together, you know, and we conduct a large amount of our business on text message, frankly, you know, coordinating things and understanding things and communicating, just because we're so, you know, focused on delivering value to the customers and that sort of thing. And so we're, you know, completely transparent. And you know, like when we mess up, we don't have productivity. We don't have to hide that from one another. And I think that's important. And we've talked about business partnerships in the past, but you know, and we'll just flat out call ourselves out. Like, man, I just had a terrible day. It just things didn't click, didn't work. And I can't tell you how many things that we've tried that didn't work. And you know, and we just keep swinging. So.
You mean like this text that you sent me last night?
Oh, what's it say?
Hold on. Let me see if I can show it.
Hang on a minute.
The lighting messed up. You will laugh at this, folks. Like, text me back ASAP. That was Mike's way of saying, I need a response. I got the message. I'm his partner. I know him. Meaning he was like, look, there's times we get back to each other fast. We got direct access to each other, but then there's times where one of us are just like, I'm like, Mike, what happened? Where you been? And it's been like, he's like, Matt, it's been 30 minutes. I'll be
Right.
like, dude, are you quitting? Like, what's the problem? Like, how come I don't hear from you anymore? Yeah, we just talked 20 minutes ago, actually. What else can I help you with? The motivation for the day, Mike, would be to talk to all the business people out there and entrepreneurs and people of success. Not even if you're not in business, this show applies to you because at the end of the day, we're all CEOs of our life and we're all personal brands and all of us sell. Whether you're a salesman or not, we all sell. So every one of us should take business principles extremely serious. I said all that to say this, Mike. I had something so motivational for the end of the show, and I completely forgot. So that's how we're going to end it today. No, I'm just kidding. I did have something good, and it really was good, but it just, it's just how it goes. In the world of motivation, you got to go with the flow. When the flow ends, it ends.
It's kind of like walking into a really awesome barbecue restaurant and the smell's hitting you as you walk in and you're like, man, this is awesome. You sit down, you open the menu and everything's amazing. And like Yelp gives it 5 stars and people are like, I would vote for them for president. And you sit down and they're like, yeah, we're actually totally out of brisket.
Good analogy, Mike. That's the analogy of the ages, man. That is a good analogy. So we like to close our business show with a sales tip of the day, and I would like to just leave every young, old, whatever salesman out there. I really do. I want you to go for 100. I want you to go for 100 as fast as you can. I want you to see how quick, make it a game, and reward yourself and punish yourself. Sleep on the floor if you don't hit your goal. So I'm a big believer in that, Mike. I'm a big believer in using the bed as a rewarder. Like, there's certain times I look at my bed and I say, I don't even deserve to sleep on this thing. I deserve the floor. I didn't execute. I didn't hustle. I don't even deserve a bed. Like, I don't deserve it. You feel me? Of course, I have weird ways of motivating myself, so that's how I go. Yeah, exactly, Tommy. I know Mike got me in the mood for barbecue as well. But listen, like, set a goal and say, okay, I'm going to see how many, for example, I got some pastor friends of mine that are stuck. And I'm like, look, act like you're the mayor. Go meet 100 people in your community. Go shake hands with 100 people and just introduce yourself and see what happens. Same thing in sales. Look, if you're an author, go sell 100 books. If you're in My Health 90, you're a My Health 90 sales affiliate, bam, go make 100 sales. Just go for 100 and see how fast you can get there, or at least 100 prospects. Some of you can do that in a day. You could literally, but I want you to see how quick you can touch, contact, connect with 100 people. You'd be surprised at the breakthrough this would give you in sales and what we call mojo or momentum. You need momentum in sales. And nothing's going to give you momentum like just getting right back out there in what we call prospecting. So get out there and do it. Make your calls. See the people. That's the sales tip of the day today.
That's good.
Mike, bring it home, man. Bring it home for us.
Well, clearly the title of this episode is going to be Business is a Carpet Burn. So, some great info here today, and you know what work ethic is about: desiring it, putting the time in, putting the effort in, and understand that sometimes you need to make sacrifice. Sometimes, if you want to be a business owner and you want to excel in business or sales, you don't have the luxury of taking time off. You don't have the luxury of relaxing. You don't have the luxury of being distracted. You need to focus, get in the zone, and take care of business.
So is today's business episode going to be titled Get in the Zone?
No, it's going to be Business is a Carpet Burn.
You like that one, didn't you? Or it's going to be to be the tragedy of Well, hey, let me close the show, guys. This is our final day until Tuesday. We're here every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 9:30 EST for our talk show, Fuel for Success. The verdict is still out on whether or not Mike and I are going back to Monday through Friday, but we're for sure Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And this is our 255th episode. If you want to watch any of our previous episodes, all you got to do is go to iTunes and type in Fuel for Success. You can also download any of these off YouTube. And then you go to our website, fuelforsuccess.tv, and search by category. So if you want to only watch our shows about business, you only want to watch our shows about life coaching or health or family and relationships. Mike, good show yesterday about dating and all that stuff. I think we might have broke our record for view count for that. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to research that, but it was high up there. And also, if you like this show and it helps you, tell your friends about it. Put it out on your Facebook. Send it to your boss. You know what? Somehow find a way to motivate your boss to watch these, because it'll help your company grow and it'll probably make your life a little better, because we're out to help bosses.
Be better bosses.
Hey, great day, Mike. Good seeing you again.
Hey, thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah. Mike, I feel you should close the show today.
Wow. Thanks everybody for watching. It's been amazing. We love our live audience. You make this exciting and fun. We look forward to it every single time we do a show. So thank you so much. And God bless you all. Have an awesome Thursday. Have an awesome weekend. And we will see you Tuesday morning, 9:30 Eastern Time, for our show on health and fitness.
God bless y'all, my friends. Have a great day.